On today's video, I have something really special to share with you guys because I have received the highest achievement level on my company, EXP, in the entire United States. Just 1% of the realtors in this company can get that goal, and I did it, which is the ICOM agent, just 1%. As you can see, I'm here in this wall. Just these few agents in this wall actually can get into that level, and on top of that, celebrating that I was nominated to be part of the 35 under 35 truck producers here in Florida. So this is a really blessed to be in this position of my career, and everything is because of you, because you have trust on me, of course, in my team, and that is my goal in this path in real estate. Keep guiding people and keep helping people to achieve the real estate goal. And for that reason, today's my first video with a special guest. We will have Christian Funes from New American Funding, one of my preferred lenders. And with him, we will go over to all of the questions that you haven't asked for a long time about the hot topic in the market and even the famous Hometown Hero program. So stay tuned for the video and let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. And in this channel, in this episode is really special because we have actually a special guest today. Welcome Christian Funes to this channel, loan officer from New American Funding. And on today's video, we want to go over many hot topics about this market, some tips for buyers, of course, and the most popular program right now, Hometown Heroes. So Christian, talk to me, I'll talk with all of my audience right now. What is Hometown Hero programs, all of the details, who can qualify, and how people can get those $35,000?
Yeah, that's a very important question, Marye, because we've been getting it for the whole last month, I would say. And the biggest benefit that I see with the Hometown Heroes is that it opens up a vehicle to the buyers that don't have enough money to purchase that first home to actually enter the real estate world, right? So it's giving up to $35,000 in closing costs and down payment assistance for up to $35,000. And who wouldn't like $35,000?
Everyone. I wanted to get the program too.
So, like I said, it is a first-time home buyer program, so you have to be a first-time home buyer. Minimum credit score is 640 credit score. You do have to be a full-time employee here in Florida. Okay. And if we get those requirements, obviously we have to verify the 3 pillars of a pre-approval, like income, credit, and assets. In this case, assets would be covered by the Heroes program. But like I said, it is truly a vehicle for those people that don't have the money. They have the income and credit, they have the money. They can get into the dream of really buying that first home.
It is a great tool because, it's giving to you the option to buy on today's market, even if you don't have enough money for your down payment or your closing costs. So Christian, what do you think is the pros and cons about this program? Let's start with the pros.
So the pros, definitely, like I said, getting into the real estate world, right? Starting to invest in real estate, because this can be your first property, right? And a lot of people at the beginning, right?
They want the dream home immediately.
They want the dream home, or they want to, put 20% down when sometimes it's not necessary. I mean, we can go to 3%, and with this program, even less, right? So see it, I would change the perspective and see it that way. It's a vehicle.
0%,
Literally. So it's a vehicle at the end of the day to buy real estate. The cons, it is a repayable loan. So once you sell the home, refinance, or you vacate the house, then you have to pay it back. But like I said, we can make a plan with the whole team to see what's the probability of you keeping the house for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and see if this program is really the best for you.
Definitely, definitely. I think this is a great, great idea. And I'm getting so many clients out of the state and they ask me that question. What do they need in order to qualify for a hometown hero?
Yes, but the first step would be to fill out a mortgage application so we can verify the income, credit, and see if they actually qualify for this amazing program.
Okay, so now you got it. So next time, if you're thinking to buy here with this special program, just call me. Call, of course, Christian, and let's go for it. Now let's go with the next topic, which is the difference between the type of loan. Like nowadays, there's many questions about what is the type of loan for FHA, VA, USDA conventional. Because when I do my breakdowns on the YouTube videos, people have that question. So let's get started with an FHA program. So what are the requirements for an FHA? Everyone can qualify as an FHA. Just let's go over the details for each program.
So if I can mention something about FHA, very simple, is the flexibility that it has with the buyers, right? It's a government insured program that is generally used by first-time home buyers because of this reason, right? Flexibility with the credit, you know, it's there's a lot of programs that can assist you also for the down payment, but that's really it, you know, is lower down payments, more flexibility with the credit score. Did you know, for example, that you can get pre-qualified for an FHA with a 580 credit score? 580.
Really low credit.
So there's certain programs, for example, FHA, that are very flexible, so the buyer can buy their home. And that's really the biggest benefit I see with FHA.
And what about the rates? Because people is getting really worried about the rates. What is the difference for FHA or either other program?
So what I can say about the rates, right, and if I can take it back a little bit, right now rates, people are saying that they're higher. Well, we have to compare higher to what, right? Obviously, if we compare it to the pandemic, they are higher than the pandemic, but right now it's a very healthy interest rate environment, I would say. And once inflation comes down a little bit, and there's just education moment, once inflation comes down a little bit, rates are gonna follow that, right? But the biggest benefit that I see in today's market, Marye, is the leverage to negotiate.
The opportunities, that's what I promote. That's why I promote the great opportunities in this channel, and that's why you can't miss out any new video, because we have opportunities, lenders as New American Funding is provided, also like great opportunities for closing costs, so there's chances to do negotiations in this market.
Exactly, and I think you called it right there, Marye, negotiation. Right, there's a little bit less demand than in other environments. Therefore, you have the leverage to negotiate a better price, closing costs. How many times?
There's more window to do those type of
Exactly. And
negotiation.
are you like me, and does the borrower agree with me that you would like to get an asset at a discount? Who doesn't like a discount?
Everyone, everyone loves that. Insert, go back to the pandemic when the people have to overpay. Even after appraisal value, they have to pay $20,000, $30,000 for a property that even doesn't work.
So I would take that perspective and accommodate to the buyers, right? Right now we can negotiate a better price, and once interest rates come down, which the projection is that they will come down, we don't know when exactly, but at that moment we can refinance for a lower down payment. That would be my take.
Yes, and the real question is if the people will be willing to overpay when the rates goes down and the demand increase even more. So are you willing to overpay it again and go bidding wars again? I don't think so.
That's something a lot of people don't think about, but you called it.
Yes, so what about conventional loans?
So conventional loans are, you know, I would say they're more strict in their guidelines. Like you need a better credit score, you need a cleaner credit history. And that's why, for example, that we receive a lot of buyers from out of state, New York.
Okay.
Usually this buyer, if they're trying to buy as a second home or as an investment property, we have to do it as a conventional type of program. So that type of buyer, you know, needs to go conventional, a little bit cleaner and more stricter guidelines. But, you know, you can buy as low with 10% as a second home from out of state. So I would say, and I know all these details depends on the borrower itself. Exactly. So it's best to obviously see that scenario, but at least I can give you those pointers where the benefit of conventional comes to place.
Okay, and if they're coming just for an investment, it's 20% down payment, right?
So minimum actually, Marye, it's 15%.
15%,
you know?
even better.
15% if they're gonna rent it out right away, 15% down payment. Obviously a lot of people like putting the 20%, because the mortgage insurance, is waived. Therefore, your mortgage payment is better. Therefore, there's more cash flow, better numbers for the investor. But it's just a matter of, seeing if it's worth putting that 20%, and if you have it, obviously.
Yes, I have so many questions with those buyers coming out of the state. I have posts every day, people from California, from New York, from Texas, Pennsylvania, even Hawaii. They wanted to buy here in Florida as a primary residence, and they want to get an FHA loan. Is that a possible, or what?
There's a possibility, depending on how they earn their income.
Okay.
Right? If we can demonstrate that they can live here in that property, because remember, FHA has to be for a primary residence. Okay. That means that it has to be owner occupied. That person has to live in the property. So we have to demonstrate the bank that that person is going to live in the property. So if there's a way to demonstrate that you're going to live in the property, then we can try that option as FHA. And there's a way to do it.
Okay, and what about the job? So they can transfer the job, or they can find another job in the same field? How will be in that case?
So if it's a job that you have to be present at your job, maybe a warehouse that you have to be there, you would, in order to do it as an FHA, we have to demonstrate again that it's going to be your primary residence. Hence, we have to demonstrate that your job is going to be in the area where you're going to buy.
I got it.
Does that make sense? So some cases we've done it, right? We have to get a transfer letter from that employer to the area that you want to buy, let's say Ocala area, to that area, so we can demonstrate the bank and federal guidelines that that's going to be your primary residence, and we can take the advantages of FHA.
Minimum credit score for conventional loans.
So minimum credit score is 620, based on the guidelines. That's the theoretical. I do like being very transparent with this. The practice might be a little bit different, but if you ask me, 620 is the minimum credit score. At that point, if you're at 620 credit score and you're trying to buy your primary residence, it's better to take an FHA. Just a little pointer here, little nugget. Might be better to take an FHA because you're going to have a better interest rate than the conventional.
And for the Hometown Hero programs, I know they have a limited credit. What is the credit score?
Yes, so the minimum credit score for Hometown Heroes, if you're trying to get that help, right, that assistance for as a first-time home buyer, would be a 640 credit score. 640. 640 credit score.
Okay, so now let's go with the veterans, the VA. I have several buyers, like VA buyers, coming into the Ocala, Florida to retire here. How they can afford those properties with a VA loan?
So the VA loan, in my opinion, is probably the best product in the market because there's obviously zero down payment.
Of course.
There's no mortgage insurance. And you're also serving that veteran, right? Which I do have a lot of respect for the people that serve our country.
Totally.
Huge respect.
They deserve
So I do believe that that's the best product. With us, we do have a lot of flexibility with the VA program. We don't even require a credit score. So if you're that veteran that is trying to buy their home, then we have a lot of flexibility with that type of hero.
And the last, USDA. So I have also clients calling me trying to get a USDA because even though they don't have the opportunity with like veteran to get that type of loan, they wanted to get something with 0% down payment. Is that a possible? Is really hard? Is what is the what do you think is the main point with a USDA?
USDA is great, right? Because like you said, it's a 0% down payment program. And there's no mortgage insurance either, so that helps out. It does have to be in the rural area, which these people usually like those areas. There is income limits, so maybe that's the challenge with those type of programs, and the debt to income is usually the challenge. But like I said, we can take a look, and that's really the first step, right? Taking a look at your scenario, because a lot of people think they're not approved. I don't know who they asked, they haven't called us yet, but once they call us, we can see their scenario and see what's the best option for them, and that's really our goal here.
Okay, and it's also true that there's some limitations in the numbers of properties available for USDA? Because I heard that before. Like, okay, in this particular neighborhood, there's just a certain amount of properties available for USDA.
The way we can check if it's USDA available or approved, it's going to be through their website. It's the easiest way, because some people think it's in a particular area, but it really depends on the particular home that you're trying to buy.
Yes.
So it does have to be eligible, which is a better word.
Okay, okay, perfect. So let's say that you have an owner that you have a bankruptcy. So what is the time that you had or buyers had to wait for Chapter 7, Chapter 13, or even a foreclosure?
Excellent. That's a very good question, 'cause we do get it a lot, and it does depend on the program, right?
Because
But
they
if
say, I can't buy
Okay.
never again. So it's, we need to break down the fears.
Exactly. And right here, first of all, with bankruptcy, for example, we need to determine first if it's a bankruptcy Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, right? And the most flexible program that we can use to buy, it's FHA, right? Which the requirement would be 2 years of seasoning or waiting period from the discharge date, right?
Okay.
So we would have to wait 2 years in order to move forward. If it's a bankruptcy Chapter 13, it's a little bit lenient with it, and we would only need 12 months in certain scenarios, right? And when it's about bankruptcy, the first thing that I would check as a buyer would be my discharge date. When has been my discharge date? Because most of the time, the bank has to follow that particular detail.
Okay, and then the regular other requires as a type of loan, right?
Yes, so it really depends on the type of loan, but like I said, the flexibility it's given by FHA most of the time, which is only 2 years required.
And what about foreclosure?
So for foreclosure, it's a little bit different story. Like said in our past video, in our past section, FHA will give us the most, flexibility with it. So for foreclosure, with FHA, we would only have to wait 3 years, okay? While with conventional, for example, so you can see the difference, with conventional, it would be a 7-year period
Wow.
from the discharge date in order to do it.
What a difference, yes.
So right there is when I always tell people, hey, let's verify the scenario. Let's see if you have, a foreclosure 4 years ago. Let's see if we can try to make that FHA loan happen. That way they can buy the property. And I do want to say that sometimes it depends on the scenario.
Okay.
Like if it's a very specific scenario that happened to that particular borrower, I can tell you that there was one case in very recent times that the borrower, had to go foreclosure because he had, a particular disease.
Okay.
And with a letter of explanation, we could make it happen.
Okay.
So having said this, obviously there's exceptions to it.
Of course.
So
they're always
if you think there might be an exception in this case, obviously it's good to see the scenario and see if we can create that for you.
Just call Christian. If it is on Christian hands, everything will be possible. We'll make it happen for you. Thank you so much, Christian, for share this time with me, this little space for everyone out there that watching every video on this channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for support. Of course, every new video, we're here to help you guys anytime. My team and I are so happy to serve you guys and make your real estate dreams come true. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.